Hey guys, welcome to the Random Topics podcast. Today we're on episode 4. I probably won't say how many or what episode we're on later on in the future because I'll lose count like I did later on in this podcast. You'll see it. Today's guest is CraigMhgg. I don't know exactly how he wants me to pronounce that, but Craig is a cool YouTuber guy. He has a lot of videos from like Minecraft to Pokemon Sword and Shield to Mario Maker to Legend of Zelda, just all you could think of. So go check him out. His info will be in the description down below. He does some pretty good live streams. If I do say so myself. And today's topic, we're mostly talking about. Well, a funny thing, we should talk about this real quick. It was supposed to be about Pokemon, but as we went through the conversation, it kind of shifted into COVID and then into religion and politics. Not really too much into politics, but if you're not wanting to hear that kind of stuff, then this might not be the podcast episode for you. Please come back to the next one. We don't dwell too deep into it, but it is an interesting conversation, if I do say so. I enjoyed having Craig on, and we also do have a conversation about cancer too. So trigger warning for that. If you guys also don't want to see that kind of thing or hear it, don't watch through this video or podcast, depending where you're listening on. But it was a really good conversation. Craig and I had a long conversation. I wish I didn't have to go, and then it wouldn't have ended. We could have kept going on to the topics we were talking about. But I'm rambling on for too long, so let's get into the podcast. Thank you guys for coming in, and let's get to it. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the fifth episode. I don't even know how many episodes we've done of the Random Topics podcast. You see, I'm so disorganized because I have so many recorded already. But today we have Craig up in here. Hello, Craig.
Yo, 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 hey, what's up, everyone? Craig here, let's go!
Craig Craig is also a YouTuber. And do you do Twitch or anything else?
I used to do Twitch, but then I just, time basically got in the way. I barely have time for YouTube, let alone doing YouTube on Twitch, so
I know,
just
you're
basically,
telling me.
yeah,
It's hard to
desperate.
balance both of them, especially.
Yeah, definitely. Well, no, it wasn't too bad, but I realized that views were dropping a lot, and I was like, maybe it's best to focus on one until one of them's grown, and then transfer over, and then try to balance both of them whenever I got both more time and more of an audience, so. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
when
that kind
you
of thing.
do YouTube full time, huh?
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking about doing full time YouTube in like September, but money's too bad, so I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no, I need to work.
me too.
But yeah,
One day, you will all become famous. That's the plan, right?
yeah. To be fair, I know quite a few people who've gotten famous over years, which is pretty nice. I know like a drama channel. My cousin is a famous Nintendo YouTuber. Like I don't know, got my connections anyway. If I
Ooh,
ever need a good cool come.
Greg got the connections.
I do. All of them had more time and pushed 10 times more effort into me, and they earned it very, very well. Too far, like, I know Josh, he's a drama YouTuber also. Shout out to Blocks, but yeah, I have known him since about 2013, and he smashed out YouTube as much as possible, and then whenever he got the drama, it basically was his passion. You could even tell back whenever he was doing Nintendo stuff as well, but he's done absolutely brilliant. And then my cousin Mero, she's done fantastic as well. So big GG's to all of them. I need to get, I don't know what language I'm allowed to use here, but I need to get back to work basically.
Get back to grinding. Well, drama
Get back
YouTube
to,
is something that's always relevant, so that's hard to compete with right there.
oh yeah, no, 100%. He is killing it. I don't want to make it all about Josh because I've barely talked to him anymore. Like, but I'm like in a wee group chat with him, and like I hear some behind the scenes stuff, and like his videos seem like really easy to make, and like if a normal person heard it, it seems like the easiest thing in the world to make, but it'll take him like 10 hours per video or something like that, which is just insane.
At least he's
So
putting a
big
lot of
shit.
work into it.
Oh yeah, 100%. See, I could never be a drama channel. I could never.
Yeah.
A because I hate real life news and all the toxicity and all of Twitter just pisses me off, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
honest with you. It doesn't even depress me. It just gets on my nerves. I just see people have liked something, and I'm like, But
Yeah.
and also another thing of drama is obviously you need to be on like point 24/7 because anything can change, and especially whenever you're in the UK, drama would be hard to keep track of. And also see, I do not really care about any sort of YouTube drama for 90% of the time.
I know, and there's so much. It's hard
I
to keep
know.
up.
Honestly, I see. One thing I like at the moment, I've actually got Twitter up just because I've got a dual screen thing, and this is what I was on before, and I'm just like seeing things like the UFC and boxing and all that, and that's what would intrigue me a lot more. Like I'd love to maybe try to do more real life stuff. YouTube boxing, I need to train a lot before I got on that, and also need a lot more followers, etc. But that would also be something that would be really cool.
You should try it.
Maybe I've trained boxing before, like when I about a couple of years ago. I like to do some of the drills for it just to keep fit and all that. Especially since I was not well, I wasn't fat, but I had quite a lot of weight on me like a month, 2 months ago, like so I've gotten a lot of that off, and yeah.
Well, especially
But I
during the
don't know.
pandemic, you're kind of homebound. Like that
Uh
doesn't help.
oh no, the pandemic's been awful. I lost so much money because I've had a house since September.
Yeah.
And I haven't lived, or since last August, should I say, and I haven't lived in there since November, and I'm moving in next month just to move my stuff out to my new place, which I will be living in full time at least, which is pretty relieving. By this whole pandemic thing, the whole thing has been such a nightmare.
Yeah, now that it's kind of blowing over a bit. Kinda. It's not over, but it's blowing over.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, it's nowhere near over. Like my family works in travel, and my God, yeah,
Travel
it's been.
especially. Travel's probably terrible.
Oh yeah, I could probably tell you like the amount we've lost in the past year alone, but it's a mad number. Let's just say it's a mad number. But
Yeah.
hopefully, as soon as things start going up again, it'll be pretty good. That's what the hope is anyway. I feel like now that everyone's pretty much double vaccinated, that it could go back to normal. And I say screw the anti-vaxxers at this point.
Yeah, I
It's
know. I hope there's
if
a
it
lot
ma-
less
uh,
anti-vaxxers than there are vaxxer people.
see any anti-vaxxers who are listening to this or about to comment, you made your own choice.
True.
That's
Especially
all I'm
because now
saying.
there's another variant of COVID going
Yeah.
around, the Delta or whatever it's called.
Oh, see, I just kind of ignore the variants at this point. You could see the thing is with me, I kind of think you could either get in a mindset where you just focus on all these variants and get scared of it, or else you kind of realize that they're all pretty much the same, only they put a lot of hype into it. Like the flu has like tens of variants per year, but you don't go on about it. But because COVID, I do understand COVID because obviously it's like 10 times more deadly. But
Yeah, do you
now
think
that
they're
people
trying to
are,
scare people into getting the
oh,
vaccine?
probably, yeah. I know for a fact that the travel, they're definitely trying to make the process as complicated as possible to make people travel less. Like, I know because my girlfriend goes over to Latvia because that's where she actually lives, and the whole process for her has been a nightmare. Actually, I was supposed to see her for the first time in like 5 weeks yesterday, and then she wasn't allowed on the flight because she took a COVID test 73 hours before she got on the plane instead of underneath 72, and because of that extra hour, they told her she wasn't allowed in the plane. She has to pay like another 100 quid to come back over.
Ah,
It's
so just because it was just a few like hours out, it was that's messed
yeah,
up.
it was only 1 hour.
That's
It was
wild.
it's wild, yeah. So instead, she's coming back. Luckily, she was able to get because Latvia is like a bit. There's not many flights going in and out. It's like once every 2 days. So something like £60 for a flight and then 40 for a new COVID test. And like that's it. But then whenever you get back, you need to do 2 COVID tests as soon as you get back, and you're not allowed out for 10 days. So it's just, the whole thing's just a nightmare when it comes to everything. Like.
Well, I mean, at least out there, you guys are taking a lot more precaution because in the United States, it is not like that.
And I think it's getting to a point where we've pretty much been in this lockdown state since Halloween, and I
Really?
think everyone's sick of it. Yeah, well, the official, actually, no, the one from Halloween wasn't too bad, and that's kind of why I moved back from England back over here. But then it was Boxing Day, so the day after Christmas. For anyone who doesn't know what Boxing Day is, basically, we were put into a lockdown, and we were only officially out of it like one and a half months. and still like don't I don't really know what we're able to do at the moment, but yeah. Apparently, the big get out of COVID date is like I think it's July 21st or something around then. And I kind of hope I'm getting to a point where I'm sick of it. Like people are going to start rioting if it gets any longer. If I'm honest with you,
Yeah,
so I
because
just
they've been
hope.
moving it every few like every time it gets to that deadline, they move it over a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
That's how
No,
it's
well,
been doing.
there's only one deadline before, and I think it was June 25th. And the second that date happened, I just turned like my family, my girlfriend, and all. I was like, this date will never happen in a million years. And I was like, mark my words on this. And they all kind of agreed because the problem was this date, it was pulled out of nowhere with no figures. It was just basically, all right, if everyone does this, we'll be out by a date. And I was like, this is not planned well enough to be an actual date. I was like, what's going to happen? And this is pretty much actually exactly what happened. I was like, what's going to happen is this date's going to be false, but it's to keep people's hopes up. And then whenever they show the new date, it won't be that far off what the original date was. And then people will be like, all right, like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, that's all right. Versus, being told we have no date for you, basically. No, no, the whole thing's been like I could honestly talk about COVID for about 20 hours if I'm honest with you, just because how much it's just messed up my ear.
Yeah.
Basically. I
Well,
think everyone can as well.
it's way different from the US because right now people are like free basically and like if you have your vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask, but there's no way they can really check to see if you don't have your vaccine.
Yeah.
They can deny you service at restaurants and stuff if you don't show them, but they can't like really prove or anything. So people are going around and nobody's wearing a mask out in the United States, and everyone's out doing stuff again. So like regulations kind of went down here, and we're like leading in like COVID like people. So I'm surprised we're still like opening up more than most places.
Well, I guess it all changed whenever Biden went into office, and it was like Trump just didn't have a clue.
Yeah, no.
As to be fair, like the thing is, I've always said the thing is, I always like for Trump and Boris Johnson and any other world leaders. I always said for 2020, for most of 2020, I'd give them a bit of leeway. No one in any way possible, world leader wise, was prepared for what this was and has any idea how to handle it. Everyone did different ways because honestly, no one had a clue because no one had really been taught what to do in this situation or anyone really had an idea. But
Yeah,
now that it's but now that it's a year and a half down the line and they're still making like things that anyone could say is a mistake and they still make it. That's whenever I say it's just it is all political at the end of the day. We just want to say we're doing this better than you lot. It's like for vaccine, we won't share vaccines between like US, UK, and different parts of UK, and then we don't share with Europe. The whole thing is just it is all political, and I just do not think it's something like this should have politics written on it at all. It should all be just let's get out of this
yeah, it
bad
should just be a
situation.
health concern than a political
Yeah,
concern. I agree completely with that.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's really about it. As said before, COVID, it's just a big nightmare. Like, I can't tell you how many times it's like ruined my plan of something, or like there's plane tickets I still haven't been reimbursed from March 2020, which are like 300 quid. Or like my house.
What you said quid? What's let me see.
Oh, pounds. That's pounds.
Heinz?
So, yeah, pounds. It's our pound sterling. It's our currency. Quid is just slang term really for it. So like £200, $200, that type of thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Uh,
So it like translates a dollar to a dollar or dollar to
uh,
USD or I don't even know.
I think it's like I mean I used to see the thing is I used to obviously get paid in dollars, so let me think. It's something like $1.3 for a pound, I think, for £1. I want to say it's something around that. I'll just Google it here. I want to say it's something around that.
Yeah, because everybody has different like currencies. Like Amy has pounds. Snake has like Canadian dollars. I'm over here with U.S. dollars.
Yeah.
There's so many different. I used to like collect pesos because we used to get pesos for my family since my family some of them lived in Mexico and stuff, and they bring some over, like my
Yeah.
grandpa. So we'd keep the pesos just in case, because they're cool. But
Could,
I don't have
could,
anything but US dollars now.
could actually, I might be going to Mexico in October, but I don't know yet. That's a whole other story. It's $1.39 for £1, so it's round about right. But yeah, I might be going to Mexico in October for basically a YouTube friend who I've known since 2012's wedding, which is just a crazy thing to say because whenever me and him both met, like you could just look at us and say neither of these guys will ever be able to talk to a woman properly. Like, but now he's getting married and that's his mad.
Yeah. Well, you guys met 11 years ago, though. That's a
11
long
years,
time.
yeah. And the scary thing is, I think he was around about. He might have actually been younger than me now. Whenever I met him, that's crazy. Actually, he would have been like 19, 20. Oh my god, I'm old now. Just death. He used to be the old man whenever I was in the group, and now I'm probably the old man.
It's all good.
Desperate.
We're all old to somebody. That's the truth.
It is. It honestly is. Well, it's getting to the point like where I don't get ID'd for things anymore, and it's getting to a bad level. It's getting
Yeah.
to a point where I'm no longer just old. I probably look a bit old, which isn't good.
Don't
But
worry, don't worry. I see you as the same age as me, even though you're probably not.
I don't even know what age you are, so I can't comment.
22. I am
Uh,
young.
exact same age.
Really? See? Look at that. Well, then that doesn't make you feel better because now we're both old.
Yeah, we're both old.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
This we moved from like a Nintendo podcast to COVID podcast. I should have one of those one day. It'd be a good conversation to have.
yeah. You see, the thing is, problem is, I work in like games design, and then plus whenever I do YouTube. So like a lot of the time, unless I'm streaming or recording something for YouTube, I don't really game that much.
No,
So
me neither. Honestly, whenever you're not recording or stuff, it's kind of just chilling, right?
yeah, the thing is, like I have been doing YouTube since 2012. So whenever you've been doing it for that long, after a while, I don't know. I've kind of improved this quite a lot because I remember it was like back in 2016, 2017. I actually got to the point where I couldn't really enjoy playing games anymore because all I could think of was like editing because I used to do like 10 videos a week at one point,
Yeah,
and
that's a
whenever you,
lot.
yeah, it used to be once a day Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was double episode weekend. That's what it used to be called. Yeah, that's when I used to be relevant, but that's been a long time since it's been like that. But no, it was good fun. But after a while, you just kind of have it in your head it's a job, and then plus whenever I do games design, I'm stuck behind basically the problem is I'm stuck behind a computer 24/7. So my free time I just kind of don't want to be.
Yeah, you want to go
Because,
away from that.
yeah. But no, it's been alright. I've been actually getting into gaming more. I like as a Nintendo YouTuber, it's probably a weird thing to say, but I like my Call of Duty. My Call of Duties
Yeah.
put, would put me if I could put many an hour into like Call of Duty Zombies. Like, there's definitely been times like even this month where I've probably just sat down to do uni work and then 6 hours later I'm like, okay, I've finished my game.
Yeah. I grew up on Call of Duty. Call of Duty was one of my main games. I like been I don't know how long. I think like 2007, 2008 is how long I've been playing Call of Duty for since like the earlier games. I still
Yeah,
play it. I still find it enjoyable.
yeah. What game did you start on? I started on World of War in like 2009,
Yeah.
2010.
We're around the same.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I had to persuade my mum quite a lot to get that game, like. So.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, no, I always enjoy it. See, I was kind of, I think about five or so, I played a lot of Nintendo, and then I met a couple of mates, and then they're like, let's play Call of Duty, and I played Call of Duty, and then I don't know what happened. I probably didn't do it for that long because I started YouTube in 2012, so it must have been like 2 years where I primarily played PlayStation, and then I went straight back to like Nintendo, and now I'm kind of doing a mix of them.
So did
So
you
it was
do like Call of Duty YouTube before or
I have done. I've got a Call of Duty YouTube channel, but the problem is So I don't hardly have enough time for my main channel, let alone one that's got I think 30 subscribers or something like that.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
fair.
just it is just basically putting my priorities. I would love to have like 100 time, like a lot more time basically to do stuff, but it is what it is. Whenever I'm working full time, problem is because whenever you do uni work, like I kind of notice it all day, every day. Like I can probably sometimes I'd work from uni from like 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 12 o'clock in the afternoon the next day, and then but then there's also days where I do nothing. But the problem is, whenever you're doing uni stuff, it doesn't stop in the weekends. It's not like weekends you get off. Like weekends, I stress myself out and I work. So it gets to a really bad point where then I just, which is kind of why sometimes I stop streaming sometimes because it's either A, I feel like I get behind my uni stuff, or B, because I spend that amount of time working and stressing about like programming something or something like that.
Yeah,
The last thing I want to do is go behind a computer basically.
you're constantly working. Like that's basically what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. I cannot wait until I get to work and like for the simplest things. I read something yesterday, something on Twitter when people were like, "Why are people looking forward to get back to the office?" I cannot wait to get back to the office because I'm stuck in this. I basically record in this shed here, and I work in this like shed in the bottom of my garden, and it gets to the point where I'm just sitting in here alone 24/7. I'm like, right, I'd love just to go into a working environment, talk to people, not just like not hate my own house basically.
Yeah, because then you feel kind of like your house is a prison of some sort. Feel like you're
Yeah,
trapped.
yeah, definitely. Because I remember like during my big days of even just doing YouTube and all that, my like computer I worked at was in my bedroom. So whenever you work in your bedroom 24/7 and then go to school, do that stuff, come back. I don't know how I used to juggle it all. Probably just had a lot less homework, but whenever you're just doing all that kind of stuff, you just kind of hate your life after a while, and then I
Yeah,
kind of just real. I think it was like around about 2017. I kind of realized that working on myself mentally, like just get myself A in a better workspace, B more entertained, more confident, all that kind of stuff is probably the priority. Like I
mm,
genuinely, I'm not sure if it's delusional or not, but I genuinely think if I was in the right mind space and if I could get myself motivated, I could 100% grow my channel like massively.
yeah.
But it's
Well,
just
you've already done it before. Like you just, it's hard to, because you have to prioritize uni, obviously,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's hard to balance all that, especially when you're doing work at the same time. And then you got to juggle in YouTube. That's like three things right there that are like full time, basically.
yeah. And the main problem is everything I've juggled so far does not pay in the slightest. So
Yeah,
it gets to a point where I do my uni work and I'm like, oh, I wish I could earn something off this. I do other things, I'm like, oh, I wish I could earn something off this. And I look at YouTube and I'm like, the amount of effort I put into this, I earn about £20 or something like a month, and I
mm,
can't even get paid until it's up to 100. So I earn something like £100 every like 4 months or 5 months or something like that. And I kind of just get to the point where I'm like, I could just work in uni 24/7, get a good grade, work like get a high paying job, and then work on YouTube. So that's kind of what the plan was. It was originally I was after I finished my masters, which finishes in September. I was going to take like 2 months off to
yeah,
like work full time on YouTube, but basically, me and my girlfriend are moving in together like basically this time next month, and then yeah, basically she's finished her degree, so she's trying to get a full time job. I'm doing a masters until September because it's a 12-month thing, and then once we're both working, it'll be like this time next year and over. It'll be like zero stress money wise type thing.
yeah. Because you'll have two people at that point.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. The good thing about sharing like a one bedroom place is it like it's something which one person is usually paying for, only it's split between two people.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot less money you have to be spending.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I live with my girlfriend now, and I'm gonna be honest. If I didn't live with her, I would be screwed out in this world.
I know, 100%. Like, I cannot wait until I move in with her. Like, it's been long. I think, especially since we started dating in December of 2019,
Yeah,
and pretty much have been living together at my my mum's place since. Plus, I've had like a lot of bad things happen at the start of 2020, which I probably I won't depress everyone by saying, but there was just like a lot of bad stuff happened there, then, and then we moved it in together. So it honestly felt like we probably pushed our relationship forward like 5 years and like one.
Yeah, a little too fast before it was ready.
No, it was all right. Me and her actually, surprisingly, COVID didn't really affect our relationship at all.
Really?
Like, no, we never had like any hard times. Like, I'd still say like going into 2 years on, like we're still in like the honeymoon type phase. Don't get me wrong, because we live together 24/7 and all that, and we're like working together 24/7. There's times we'll probably want to kill each other, but to
There's
be
always
fair,
those times, of course.
oh yeah, 100%. Especially if you hang around me for too long, I will do anyone's head in.
Me too.
No, but no, she's been an absolute gem. I actually have no idea how I've done the last year without her. Like, so yeah, and then I cannot wait till we live together as like our own space, which has been it's like I don't know like I missed like living in uni stuff, but whenever like it's kind of living on my own, but on my own, it's like like it's completely different basically, and I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, and she's
Yeah.
the shoulder to lean on basically, so that helps a little bit of mental health.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's a mutual thing when it comes to us. I'll say, like, the problem is she's from Latvia, so there are times where she's away for like 5 weeks. I can tell you, whenever you're with someone 24/7 and then it disappear, it's so boring. Like, it's now going on to like 5.5 weeks because that whole cancelled flight incident, and I'm bored out of my mind. I was like, I was like, if your flight gets, if you're not able to get on this flight, just don't bother coming back.
Yeah, or you'll go over there.
Yeah. The one problem, I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
It's something I need to learn. Our brother's getting married next year, and I really need to learn the language before going.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
You got to pick up one of those apps that like help you learn languages easy and fast.
I actually have one on my phone. I know a wee bit of Latvian, but I couldn't. It's been actually. I haven't done it in months, so I couldn't even remember one word. I remember about one is VNs. That's all I really remember.
Yeah, that's why I got to give props to people who are bilingual, like with multiple language. I'm like, you
Yeah.
guys are wild.
Yeah, she speaks three languages. She speaks Russian, Latvian, and English, and she does her degree in her third language. And I said, hi.
Man.
Hi.
I can say hello. How's it
I can say
going?
hello.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's talent right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to like say I'd love to learn. I don't really mind Russian too much. Latvian I'm gonna do because obviously it's our country. I'd love to learn Spanish as well. Spanish has been one I'd love to learn for years. Like,
Oh man, I'm
but,
Hispanic and I don't even know much of Spanish. I never learned at a young age. My
yeah.
really teach me, so here I am speaking only English.
You see, my Spanish mate like tries to teach me English sometimes, but then whenever I put in Google Translate, if I actually said what it said on the thing out loud,
It's really
it would
butchered.
it no, it would get me cancelled in a heartbeat.
Oh,
Like it would get me cancelled in a heartbeat. But no, he's a good laugh. He's like I don't know. Like, it's one
exposing Craig.
oh dear. Honestly, I say so much probably controversial stuff behind the scenes. I could get cancelled in a second. Because the problem is, like, I'm from Northern Ireland. One of the things is we've had like something called the Troubles, which has been like basically a civil war, like bombings and everything until 1998 about
Yeah.
religion. So the thing is, everyone over here is a dark sense of humor, and then you go over to England, and that is the one culture shock that I came whenever I moved over to England. Everyone over there gets offended 100 times easier than over here. Like over here, you could say anything and no one will get offended. You go over to England, yeah, like you're sometimes walking on eggshells about what to say.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of what happens when you go through a lot of dark stuff. Is you kind of get that dark humor. Because I think dark humor is something that brings light of a situation that's dark.
oh yeah, 100%. I bring the darkest of humor, like of stuff that's happened to me.
Yeah.
Like it's just a fact. But I don't know. It's all right. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Dear.
it is how it is, you know.
It is hard. It's like the thing is, what I can't think of. I've had, especially like as I said, the start of 2020, the worst. Like basically, the thing is like like your worst fears in your head, like 2 of them came true, like 3 weeks of it,
Within
between
each
each
other.
other.
Yeah.
And then like yeah, you kind of do. I don't know. You can. The thing is, well, I was pretty proud of myself. Was I actually finished my degree that year as well. It's kind of a thing where it's either A, you can like crumble, or B, you just have to. I don't know. It's basically a mental battle that you have to win.
Yeah,
And
build
I feel,
yourself together.
oh yeah, well, the thing is like, I don't know. I've had my little depression like spikes like over the past few years. But I feel like they all kind of taught me how to love myself and all that. And now I've kind of got to a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
That's your girlfriend,
I'm
right?
good. What's that?
That's your girlfriend, or who is that?
No, no, that's me. It's me. No,
Oh,
no,
I thought you
I
said
no,
Vale
no,
like a name.
no, no. I just say I can just tell myself, I can build myself up mentally.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like I won't say too much. If you want to know what happened, like to me, like last year, just so I don't put depressing spin on things in the podcast. You can go on my channel. You can probably find it somewhere. But yeah, basically, like the thing is for me, I like basically even at the end of like 2019, whenever I met my girlfriend, even at the start, the
Yeah.
thing in my head was I can get out of depression when it's something about me. Like if it's something like I don't like myself or something like that, I've kind of gotten to the point where I can like train myself to get out of there like in a couple of days, weeks, months, or whatever, and
Yeah.
like kind of feel good. Whenever it's about someone else, however, that's when like whenever it's about someone else and there's no solution, it kind of gets to the point where yeah, you just
Well,
I don't know, you just have
that's
to
the hard part because you have more control over yourself than you do of other people. So it's stressful when you don't have control over something because
100
you can't
yeah.
help it as much as you can with yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Like with that situation, like I don't know. There's nothing I could have done. There was like nothing I could have done better, but
Yeah.
it still had a horrendous end. And I knew for like months before that it was going to have a horrendous end, but there's still nothing I could do other than basically watch, which is just it's something I don't think anyone can have trained in their mind to do. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Something that you didn't
but
wouldn't want. But yeah,
oh yeah, like,
I'll put your channel in the description down below so if anyone wants to know, they can go to that.
yeah, everyone subscribe for probably really, really sporadic content for the next wee while.
Oh, they're used to that. If they're over on my channel, they're used to sporadic content. So y'all know what you're getting from me and Craig. Oh, wait.
Like, it's just basically trying to get time to do everything. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah,
Like, but it is what it is at the end of the day.
it's life.
We're all
When you get this age, you'll figure it out. It's stressful from here on out.
nothing's good. I feel like we're at a bit awkward age between like adult and like don't want to say child because we're not like between children. We're
Like
basically between
youth.
between youth and adult.
Yeah,
And like, don't get me wrong, like the mentality of me will not change for probably my entire life, like I am now. Like I've got stupid sense of humor, like I'm an idiot type thing, like and all that, blah blah blah. But the problem is the only difference between us and adults is we, because we're just starting off in life, we do not have any money, and we just need to figure it
yeah,
all out. But once that's done, then it moves on to like marriage, kids, and all that kind of rubbish.
yeah. I wish
Yeah.
I was born with a trust fund where I already have money in my pocket, like some people do. I wish that we were lucky like that.
Yeah, no. I think I had like something like 10 grand savings before I went to uni, and I'm down to like under a grand now. Yeah,
But
all I'm
well,
gonna say is
university like drains you. So
university really does like it's unbelievable. Like even the houses and all you stay in are like too expensive for what they are,
yeah,
but you can't do anything. See, like for me personally, I'm originally from Northern Ireland. That's where I'm now. And to go to England, it's not like I can basically drive to England every day. I have to like, I have to live over there because it's either that or it's like 8 hour journey, including like £100 boat each way. But
yeah.
no, I will say I think going to England's like one of the best things that ever happened. Because even if you go back to my channel, like probably pre September of 2019, I think the confidence difference between me then and me now is like amazingly big. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to tell on camera because obviously I've been doing YouTube for how long. I've kind of gotten used to it. But me as a person, I've definitely grown like 100 times over. I'd say.
Do you think England helped with that?
Not really England, but like living on my own. Like England, I lived was like kind of forced to live on my own. I was already a pretty independent person, but I've like learned to be more independent. And like because whenever you're living alone and all that, or like living with mates, you kind of any like rough times you can run into, you kind of just have to fix yourself. Like there's no one basically to tell you the world's great because the world isn't great a lot of the times. And
And that
yeah,
builds your confidence when you get through those little like battles that you have throughout your life.
yeah, one
That
hundred
kind of
percent.
builds your confidence.
100%. I've been knocked to the ground so many times by different horrendous things, but you know what? They've kind of trained me to be like a stronger person.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's gotten to a point now, like, probably 2017, I was probably like mentally pretty weak, if I'm honest with you. But like, just one thing I always try to do to myself is like, year between year, I try to like focus on one part of myself or like just try to focus on making myself better instead of like just kind of going along in life. And then whenever like for me, I feel like I'm not any different. But then whenever you look back years ago, you're like, damn, I've came a long way.
Yeah.
You get me?
You can't really tell, and that's what helps with YouTube is you can kind of monitor what changes you have made throughout the years, be it in
Yeah,
quality, be it in mental health, be it in confidence. All that stuff changes throughout the
yeah,
years.
yeah, 100%. Because I know, like as I think I said before, I was a wee bit heavier like last month or like 5 weeks ago. I even look back to a Crash Bandicoot stream and I'm like, damn, that boy's fat compared to now.
Yeah. Me too.
but But yeah, no, it's all like don't get me wrong, like people obviously are struggling with weight and all that, like don't worry about it. Like it's one of the things to get through like weight, it's like number one, don't beat yourself up over a lockdown. Like lockdowns are horrendous. You just end up getting takeaways because you can't be arsed to cook because you've spent all day in the house working and then you just then because you're working all day in the house, you don't want to really leave, and then because there's also the fear of leaving and all that, which I haven't really ever had the fear of COVID, if I'm honest with you. But I know that a lot of people will, and like, yeah, basically, don't beat yourself up. Like everyone I know has put on weight. I know, like, for obviously the two nut, like the couple of nut jobs, you know, who have actually really improved their life, which is big shout out to them. Like that's a mentality I'm trying to get into now. I want to be one of those nut jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, I'm pretty sure I put on like 2 stone or something like that. And yeah, I'm nearly lost it all, so that's a good thing. And then it's on to, trying to improve everything else.
Yeah, you gotta climb your way back out the hole that was
Yeah, well, that's
created.
it. That's it. I think, like, I'm pretty sure I have been probably like this weight a couple of times over the past wee while, and I don't know. I can easily fall into the trap of like getting heavy, but I'm I can self motivate myself pretty well
To
as
get
well.
out,
So
yeah.
yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like this time was a bit harder because whenever if you're in a happy relationship, you do end up eating a lot more, and next thing you know you're fat.
Yeah, I do. that
Yeah.
that speaks to me on a personal level.
Oh yeah, like 100%. Like it's now got to a point where me and my girlfriend are like, right, we need to stop this before people make fun of us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Like I was buying a car in March and I saw a picture of myself and I was like, oh no 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 no.
We were so
And
different. What happened?
I was just it was just a stomach sticking out and I'm like, I need to fix that.
Yeah.
It's like I was like, I knew I was bad, but I didn't know it's that bad. And then I shaved off my beard, and I'm like, oh, I used to be a thin boy whenever I started this.
Thin boy.
And now I'm just a fat man. But nah, I'm kind of looking forward. Another thing is, like, I haven't been able to go to a gym in about since November. But whenever I get moved back to England in about 2 weeks from now, I believe,
Yeah.
I'll have like a gym 10 minutes away, which is going to be really, really nice.
Yeah. Well, didn't most of them close down as well?
Yeah, yeah, but I think they opened up like at least 2 or 3 months ago. But then the problem is that I've not known when I'm going back to England until like a couple of days ago. Actually, well, I knew I had to go back next month 100% because my lease runs out as well.
Yeah.
But I haven't wanted to buy a new gym membership, especially since I'm literally still paying for one out there, which I froze about 4 times, but it keeps on unfreezing after a month.
Yeah.
But no, it's not too bad. Like life could be 100% worse. Like I
Mm.
know for the thing that annoys me about COVID is I know, but the amount that I've struggled with it, where people struggling like 100 times more than me. Like yeah,
Yeah, some
and
people
this
went through some hard times during COVID.
yeah, like I think the worst part for me was at the start. Like basically the bad thing happened 1 week before the lockdowns happened. So then I was kind of like, right, I haven't been able, like normally when people go for like stop depressing stuff, you go like, right, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna meet mates and all that. I was like, nope. God basically said, no, we're locking you down for like a year and a half.
Yeah, and you're kind of there dealing with it in your head.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie, like it wasn't too bad for me because I love work to do, so I just basically threw myself into work for a few months.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where whenever the work stops after a day, it's hard, and it is hard. Like, and it's still hard, like even now. But it
Because
has. I don't
you're
know.
kind of left with your thoughts at that point.
Oh yeah, like 100%. And whenever it's like something as big as what happened, basically.
Yeah.
I feel bad because you probably have no idea, and then I'm just basically just and there's obviously people who don't know, but I'm like, look in my head, like just say or like it's one of those
You
things where I
can if
don't.
you would like. If you feel comfortable saying it, you can as
Oh, like, I'm comfortable saying it, like, but I'm just more worried about A, people going, oh, he's just saying it for attention, or B, this guy's really brought down the whole vibe of the podcast.
Nah,
But
you know the vibe is whatever way we take it. Each the vibe, there is no singular vibe. We're all around the map on this podcast, okay?
all right, no problem. Let's bring a wee bit of a downer turn to it, but it's all right because I don't know. The thing is, I can pretty much I'm mentally strong about the entire thing now. It still breaks me down quite a lot, but like talking about it and all that isn't hard for me basically because it's common knowledge to me now. Like it's something I know and I understand all.
Kind
But
of an
basically,
acceptance phase of it.
yeah, yeah. Well, I feel like I accepted it before that. Actually, no, accepting is not really a thing because I can never accept it, but I it's understood it's happened basically. I don't really know how else to put it. But basically, yeah, what happened is March 2020. I can't remember the actual date. It was like 6th or 7th of March. I probably should know this because it's pretty friggin' significant date, but I always get the date wrong.
Yeah.
It's fine. My girlfriend can literally tell you the date, probably, but I couldn't. But basically, my dad died back then.
Yeah.
Like he had cancer for about 6 months, and then unfortunately it didn't really work out. It's a really nasty version, which I usually try to do like a lot of charity work about because it's honestly if you get it, there's I only know what I've heard like hundreds of stories, and I only know of one survivor of it. Like it's that bad.
Man, that must be a huge strain. I'm sorry that happened.
Oh, no problem. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. Don't need to apologize. But that's it is what it is. Like I feel like I wasn't really. You can never be prepared for it. I'll say this one thing for anyone who's going through this and anyone who's went through it, you'll understand what I mean by like I was mentally prepared in my head for it to happen. Like
Yeah.
even to hours before, like even I knew what happened. The second it happened, it broke down like a little boy. But it's all right. Like it's natural whenever it happens. But
Well,
yeah.
you can't stop a heartbreak. That's one of the
Oh no,
things that
yeah,
I've
man.
learned. Like
Oh yeah.
it's okay to have like those emotions and stuff because it's what we as humans are, you know, we're emotional animals, should I
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
And
Yeah, 100%.
that's just what we do is we when things like that happen, like, you know, it happens, you know, it's gonna happen, but it still hurts and it's always gonna hurt.
Yeah, 100%. Like it still hurts now, like obviously,
Yeah.
but it's like strange. It does not feel like it's coming up to 2 years. It does not feel like it's coming up to 2 years. Like it's a crazy thought. It's really strange. It feels like it was both yesterday and about 20 years ago.
Yeah,
It's a strange feeling.
because so
Like
much
there's
time has passed but your emotions are still there.
yes, that's how
Yeah.
it's said. Yeah. And then like then like literally 3 weeks later, my grandmother died as well. So I had a really fun time at the start of 2020. I feel
Oh
like
man.
I feel like I literally went back to YouTube like a week after it happened. Like, yeah, actually, I'll tell you what, I went back to YouTube literally between the times where my dad died and my grandmother died. I feel
Yeah.
like it's strange. At the start, I was very positive about it because I'm not gonna lie to you, because I lived in England, I was going backwards and forwards every few weeks.
Yeah.
And just like seeing a change, basically seeing a change in someone you love and like your best friend and all that, and just knowing it's not going to get any better, it's a very difficult thing to go through.
Yeah.
And especially whenever like for me personally, I would have like preferred 100 times over if it was me like taking his place. But no, actually, I would have felt actually no scratch. I probably would have felt better that way, but it would have been worse for him than it is for me. If you get me,
Yeah. Because
which is
either way, the pain would have still been there.
yeah, like the difference is it's like I've always said a parent should never outlast for a child. Like
Yeah.
that should never happen in a million years. And unfortunately, it happens every day. But it's never something that should happen.
Yeah. I had a friend out in Minnesota, which is like the northern part of United States. He was dealing with some cancer in his stomach or something like that for a while, and I can only imagine what his parents went through when they lost him. He
Yeah.
was he was a good kid too, and he was fine for 1 week, and then he was gone the next. It changes so quickly.
Honestly, I've always said, and also I'm really sorry to hear about your friend because that's like honestly, I don't know, it's just awful. It is.
Yeah,
That's why I always try to do like a yearly cancers type stream because I absolutely hate the word. Like, mom had cancer whenever I was younger. Thank God she survived, or I'd probably be in a really crappy place right now. Like,
yeah.
but yeah,
Well, cancer is always an important thing to talk about because I think it's one of the biggest killers out
it
now.
is. It
Yeah,
is. Like the way my dad had it is actually the most under funded one, and it's like, but it's the hardest to find. Do you know what the problem with it is? The second you get symptoms of one my dad had,
it's
you're
too late.
that's too, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a kid. I was trying to think of like a child friendly way of saying
Was it what
it.
kind of cancer was it, if you don't mind me asking?
Pancreatic.
Pancreatic?
Yeah, it's not one you want to get. It's,
Yeah.
it's,
Well, I
a,
don't think you want to
it's
get any of them, but
Oh yeah, no. But there's some you'd prefer to get over others. Like with my mum, it turns out she actually had a faulty gene, which I may friggin' have, which isn't good. But she, like, all of her cousins are dead because of ovarian cancer, and she got breast cancer. And you'd want breast cancer over ovarian cancer like 9 times out of 10. There's obviously about 1 time out of 10 where it would absolutely mess you up.
well, I know
Like it
that
actually,
breast cancer is super funded as well, so they're
yeah,
really looking into that one.
yeah, 100%. Like it's unfortunate. I also know people who have lost people due to breast cancer. Honestly,
Yeah.
cancer is just an awful thing in general. Like there's not like it's one of those things where there's nothing good about it in the slightest. Like there's nothing I can say. Oh, there's a positive twist. There's just zero positive twists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Other than like
and
what you said earlier is if like you like your mom, she's a strong person now because of it. She came out
yeah.
of it a strong person. Like it
Oh yeah.
builds. You should never have to go through it. But
No,
if you do, you come out stronger than you were before.
no. It's just crazy.
Well,
I know
mentally.
that my yeah, because I know my dad wanted to be like one of the 100 people to survive it, and
Yeah.
like he was so determined because my mum went for it. But the difference between what my mum had and my dad had is insanely different, and I've seen firsthand. Like
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, my mum had it hard, but she was never one point during her entire thing where she was really, really struggling. While for my dad, it was like 100% struggle, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like it's just a crazy one.
It's like a different whole different cancer.
100%. Like it's like I think I've heard like if you get that one, it's pretty much just a death sentence the second you get it. But it's crazy because well, I don't know if this is true, but I heard he might have had it for like 10 years before it was diagnosed, like something crazy like that, but had zero symptoms.
Oh, so if you okay, so it was there the whole time, but the symptoms is the only way they knew that it was there.
Yeah, the thing was, I found it out of. I've also found. Do you know how little symptoms they even have whenever we found it?
Yeah.
They found it out of complete luck because he was going to a personal trainer each day and he was losing weight, like naturally. And they said, "Oh, well, pancreatic cancer, one of the main symptoms is you lose weight." And he was like, "Well, it can't be that because I've been like training, like with a personal trainer, I've been eating good and all that." And then next thing you know,
Yeah, it was
Bert,
that.
yeah, but
And it's hard cuz there's so many like factors that could happen for symptoms and stuff. And that's why
no,
people when they search up like some symptoms they're having, it scares them because they find other things that are way worse than probably
yeah,
like the common cold that they have.
yeah, 100%, 100%. It's
There's just so many
like
factors.
the problem is I'm in two minds. I'm like number one, I'm like A, I'm like, you shouldn't scare people on the internet of all those things, and then B, I'm like, but then there's the actual people who genuinely have the bad thing.
Yeah, and they
It's
kind of need that to kind of like
yeah,
push them to go forward to go to
one,
the
yeah,
hospital.
oh no, my dad's like me. The problem with him as well is he's really stubborn when it came to hospitals. He always said that he was scared he was going to die at 62, and
Yeah,
he literally died at the age of 62. Like 3 days after his birthday or something like that, because his dad also died at 62.
yeah.
So now, I'm just worried I'm going to follow through the tradition. Hopefully not.
No, Craig, you better break the tradition. We better have
Hopefully.
awesome streams for throughout the whole years.
I'm like 5 years away from a midlife crisis at the moment, like, but
No,
nah.
don't say that.
Nah, alright. No, the thing is, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I can spend all my time worrying about it, but nah.
But
Nah.
you gotta be in the moment where you are right
Yeah.
now and enjoy where you're at because
Yeah.
you're in a good place where you and your girlfriend are gonna move together. You guys are gonna have like more comfortable like financial time.
Yeah.
You have a great YouTube channel. Look at that. You're doing great on there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Plus, I don't really have a fear for death. I used to have like a huge fear for death. The only thing that fear me about death is going to hell. Like being in nothingness or heaven, that doesn't scare me. Like the whole thing would be hell for me
Yeah.
because I'm like I am a wee bit religious, and I definitely have become more religious in the past year and a half. But another thing that really brings me a lot of hope when it comes to religion is literally my girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's died before, so. She
Really?
like I won't. Oh yeah, I won't go into her personal story, but yeah, she has seen the afterlife basically.
Huh. Did that bring you closer to religion than horror or
No, well, the thing was, I don't really know how to explain how I was. I've never been an atheist, like never in my entire life,
yeah.
but I've always been a bit more agnostic.
I am
But
in the same road as that one too, so I
yeah,
understand.
but then I've done a lot of research into Christianity and all over the past year,
Yeah.
and I think that's like what I've really focused on. Like especially like I don't know. There's been a lot of things like from the research I've heard to like lawyers trying to debunk the resurrection and all this. By the way, the people who don't like religion, I'm really sorry for sticking this part down your throat. Believe in what you want to believe. I'm gonna say enjoy your life, just don't mess up with others.
Oh
But
yeah,
like
also
no,
agnostic for people who don't know. It's
no,
someone who believes that something is not like nothing can be proven, but there's
it's
a complete possibility.
it's
So it's
basically
neither faith or like
it's
not believing.
basically you believe in something but you don't know what it is kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you
That's better
believe in it.
words.
Yeah, you don't really believe that life is you live and you die, which I just don't understand how so much of the population believe in that. Like the whole thing is, I've heard people say like, "Oh, DMT gets released from your mind." By the way, DMT is a drug, which
Yeah.
is like also naturally produced in your body, and that like you hallucinate all these things. But then there's also people who float above their body when they're dead.
And they know
See,
what's going on around them.
see the specific things that doctors do, what drawer they take things out of, I'm finding myself, because I've also done a lot of research into psychedelic drugs. By the way, to anyone at home, no, I have not done any. But like, but there's so many things where like psychedelic drugs almost brings you like to a new dimension. You see things in 4D instead of 3D, and like you can speak to like this thing that you perceive as God, and like it emanates so much love and all from it. And I just think, even from that specific thing, because people can just say it's a drugs, but everyone can see this exact same thing, doing the exact same thing to everyone who's on this drug. And I'm saying to myself, it's at that point, it's not a hallucination. It's seeing something that you cannot see in like the physical space we're in now,
Well, that's what I think
type
about
thing.
like meditation. I feel like when well, I've heard this from somebody before. I don't remember who it was, but they think that like psychedelic drugs is like a connection to like some kind of spirituality that you're not
Yeah,
able to get to until you like get into like meditation or finding yourself or getting closer to death. But psychedelics is like a speedway through there. Like it brings you
yeah,
fast there faster.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like
I don't
another
think you,
thing.
I'm also not saying that you guys should do drugs. I'm saying that
No,
that's
no, no,
what
no,
I heard.
no, no, no. Especially don't buy it off some dodgy man on the street. Like if you see God, then you probably don't. But no, what was I about to say there? I don't know, I can't remember. But like, there's so many stories I've heard. I've even known of mates who've done first hand, and they've all seen like this. What they said was like a shadowy alien thing, and
Yeah.
they all it spoke as alien language to them, and they all understood it like that. Which I don't like. All of that kind of stuff just it's so interesting. And I just remember the point I was gonna bring up, so I'm not gonna say it. Another thing that I don't understand how people are not agnostic but atheists.
Atheist, yeah.
Yeah, atheists is that it's a science. If I go by science, say science says if you die, you die. But science also tells you energy never dies. So what happens to your energy?
Yeah.
Whenever
And
there's
I think the energy is our consciousness, like our
oh,
spirits, you know?
probably yeah, 100%. I also kind of think it. How do we know? Like, obviously, biologically and scientifically and all, you know that your brain is in control of, thinking and all that. But how do
Mm.
you know? Because this is what we're led to believe. This is me putting on my tinfoil hat at this point, like, as you can probably tell. But like, how do we know that your brain is the thing that thinks, and the brain is not just the thing that's limiting you from seeing everything or something like that, something weird like that? Because there's like we're all like doing all this sciencey stuff, and people are believing in all this stuff, but at the end of the day, we are literally less than a grain of sand in comparison to the
Yeah.
entire universe from what we know. Like we do not know. Like to get to the edge of the universe, it would take what all of time already has been just to get there, and the edge will still be continuing on.
Yeah,
Will be
the edge
pointed like
is just emptiness. That's all it is. It's just empty. You can keep going and it'll still just be there's no edge there. It's just
the
empty.
thing. You can never get to the edge because the edge moves that quickly. You'll never see it.
Yeah. And also going back to the thing about like your brain being the thinking thing. I think the brain is only the control to the body, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's only like
yeah,
a robot of some sort to your
yes.
spirit. That's
Like I've
putting on my
yeah,
tinfoil hat with you, but
yes. Like I've even done like research into Christianity and all that, and it's like whenever you die, apparently you get like it's not that your spirit in like heaven and all that, you get a resurrection body because the people like I don't know. The thing is, obviously we cannot know things for a fact, but like from
mm,
what I've been told, is like if you're a non-believer, you go down to the depths of hell. But I have issues with that part of him, honestly, because if God's all loving, good people will not just go to the depths of hell if,
yeah.
like, let's say, they're brought up in a different religion. I think at some point there
And I
has
think
to be a
that's where
little bit.
agnostic comes from, right? Like that's where your
Yes,
agnostic side comes from.
yes, 100%. Like 100%. Like I've went to my minister's house and all and spoken to him in like great detail about this. He's like, "Where is your?" This is actually back in the start of 2020. So he's like, "Where's your religious thoughts and all?" And I was but it's like, "Yeah, I'm a bit like this, bit like that." But I feel like it's always good, not just to blindly follow in faith. Like, don't get me wrong. I know if like to my belief, God is real. and
Yeah.
he's a much bigger thing than me. Like, like for us personally, like we all idolize celebrities and all that. Like God is like 100 times bigger and better and can do like 10 times more things than we can ever dream of. Like to the point where if you think if he's all knowing and all seeing and doing like a million different things, you cannot even just comprehend how that works. And I think that's like one of the big things that scares a lot of people off religion and all that. It just does not make sense. And I
Yeah.
don't think it and I think the one thing about the universe is I don't think anything is made to make sense. Like what happened
Yeah.
like, I know a lot of people can probably answer this, but what happens if you go into a black hole? You just disappear. But
Yeah, you get sucked
what
into that mass.
yeah, yeah, but what do you see in there? Because the thing is, it's not like a Super Mario Galaxy or someone says where you
Yeah.
just get sucked in. You go into like I can't remember. It's like an
Super Mario
empty
64.
yeah, something like in real life. It's I'm like science geeks. You can probably correct me 100 times over this, but it's like you kind of go into this point of no return, and then you can't turn back, and like your body slowly fades away until it's nothing. But
Yeah.
what do you see and feel during that time, and where does your body go? It probably just disintegrates. But what happens if you go somewhere else? I don't know. I'm not saying go jump into a black hole, kids,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's
It,
always been something that's intrigued me.
but if you wanted to, it's like 127 light years away.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even survive to go to it, but
No.
well, the way that I kind of think of God, I wouldn't say really God in a sense. I'd say like
Yeah.
the way that I was like thinking like over time when I was like studying all this stuff. It's like I feel like God is the collection of energy, and we're
Yes.
because we're part of God, right? So God
Yeah.
is just the connection between all of us because we're all connected in some kind of way. That's what
Yeah.
I see God as, because
Well, the thing
energy
is,
is like the way they
yeah.
say that the world started is things just poofed into existence, right?
Yeah.
The way that I see it is like God existed and it poofed all of the energy around that started us,
Yeah.
started life, started like planets and stars and all
Yeah.
that.
Well, I think the thing is, Christianity also kind of works in our favor and all. Obviously, it says there's an overarching God and all that,
Yeah.
but we've also got every single person has the Holy Spirit in them, and if you think of it in the context that you say, it's kind of like the connected energy type thing.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, as I said before, religion is something that no one will understand until the day they die. It could be exactly what I'm saying, it could be exactly what someone else is saying, it could be absolutely nothing for all we know.
Yeah, it could be
But it's
nothing what we said either. That's the crazy
yeah.
part about it.
The thing is, it could literally be nothing that any of religions say because for who knows how much mistranslations or something have happened over the years. Like you cannot know for 100% fact, and that's why it's called faith.
Yeah. But there's one thing that you could take away from all of religion books, religious like beliefs, is just like take away the part where you're like respecting your neighbor, respecting the people
Yeah,
around you, and keeping a positive mindset about all that stuff because we're all going to the same place. That's
yeah,
just how it is.
100%, 100%. Like at the end of the day, who knows what happens? It could be reincarnation. Or
Yeah.
like I used to. One thing that I actually love and the religion I do love and was one I ran into for ages is I love the Buddhist religion. I think that is such like a chilled out, relaxed, and really like nice way of doing things, and
Yeah.
everyone like is a lot more respectful and all
And not
that.
forced
Christianity,
either.
yeah, like Christianity, I love, but then obviously there's been countless, countless conflicts because of it. But once again, I do not blame. Religion is the number one reason for war, but the problem is it's extremists rather than the actual religion itself. I find.
Yeah.
I feel like the amount of crap that Muslims get is absolutely insane. I would not like I do not understand like I understand the fear around it just because it's what's kind of great in your head. But I do not think it's acceptable to judge someone by like their religious clothing or something like that. Like
Yeah,
I
you
wear
can't compare religious people to their extremists. There's no comparison.
so the thing is, if you actually read into the Muslim type of religion, it's actually a religion. It's a peaceful religion, but
Yeah.
then people will turn it to their own agenda and all that. So problem is, people are dicks.
Yeah. And thing is about like religion and the Bible and stuff is it's written by a bunch of people too. So you got to
Yeah.
understand that. Like some parts of it are completely true, but there's also faults, and it's
Well,
not to take it for like all word for word.
yeah, I think the thing of the Gospels is like there's stories in the Gospels which are like the exact same story but told from different perspectives, which
Hmm.
changes the entire thing 100 times over. So who knows what like things? We don't know what's been written. We don't know what hasn't been written. We don't know what context it is. We don't know how out of date and all it is. Because I know people will always say that Christianity is like a really homophobic, like religious, blah blah blah. But
Yeah,
like I do not care if you're gay, straight, bi, trans, whatever else, because I can't remember a lot of it off the top of my head. But like,
yeah,
I don't mind. You can be whatever you want. Because if the whole thing is, people like take one part of it and just say, "Oh no, we don't allow this." But then another thing is, God says that God is all loving as well. So I don't think, especially if God makes you a certain way, I cannot imagine him punishing you in a certain way.
yeah.
Obviously I could be completely wrong in all this, like, but that is my viewpoint of it.
But this is our right. You anybody in the world that is like hated by the extremist Christians or extremist Muslims or anything like that. Like God is supposed to love everyone, so you are loved as well. Don't
Yeah,
like that's the belief. That's the belief of it. No matter what, you
yeah,
are still a child of God. I suppose is what they
yeah,
would word it as.
yeah, 100%. Also, I don't believe it's as black and white as if you die, you go to heaven and hell. I feel like there's billions of layers more than that. Like, I feel like it's a really simplified way of saying how it is. I don't feel like if you're like slightly worse than you were good, but you'll go straight to hell for all eternity. I feel like it's kind of like a stepping layer process. I've also got like so many like stories of actual religious things happening to me in real life in my family that I could probably write an entire book full of it, if I'm honest with you. But
Yeah.
at the end of it, who knows if it's religion? Who knows if it's a god and all that? Like that, it's my belief there is a god. It's a lot of people's belief there isn't a god. I don't understand people who say I don't believe in God or don't believe in anything. I feel like that's such a depressing way to live your life.
Yeah.
Just thinking, this is it. I am just going to live here for what, like 40 to 60 more years, and then I'm going to die, and
And
then that's
that's
it.
it. That's it.
I
I
just,
I think your life is not just about like dying at the end. I think it's about connections that you make.
yeah, 100%. Like, my life at the moment is like trying to figure out like what I'm going to do now, trying to make my life as good as possible. Maybe have a couple of children one day, hopefully not anytime soon,
Yeah.
for the love of a man we've been talking about for however long.
Yeah.
But but I like give me at least 4 years, maybe, and then we'll talk more about that part.
Yeah.
But
At least four
we'll see.
years. Just wait for a
At,
little bit longer.
at least 4 years, at least 4 years. But nah, yeah, that's just my religion. This is my like viewpoint. Also, you can just tell how much I've derailed this Pokemon like podcast, can't you? Haven't
Oh, I'm
even
okay. I
spoken.
think this is way better than my initial idea.
Like, see, the thing is, I love talking about all this stuff. I think you can actually tell I've got like a full on passion. I could talk about my viewpoints of religion for it. I was literally having like a 2 hour texting conversation with a girlfriend like 2 days ago about like a
Yeah.
similar topic where she's worried like she like would do a sin like over and over again. She'd be worried about going to hell and all. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm like, in my opinion, I don't think it's as black and white. Because actually, the whole thing about the Bible is none of us are worthy for heaven. Like, no one on the face of this earth is worthy.
Yeah,
No
because
matter
there's
how
sin
good
no
or
matter where you go.
yeah, exactly. No matter where you go, there's sin. But like, it's all about trusting in God. But I don't know. My one issue of that is obviously people are that ingrained in religion and all that. Because
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be very unfair for someone, let's say, who's born like a Buddhist or something like that, lived this happy Buddhist life where they looked after everyone, did everything, but the only thing is they didn't believe in God because they were not brought up that way, and then they went
Yeah.
to hell. I would think there's a
I
problem
don't
with
think
that.
that's
Which
that's a big problem, especially from an all-loving God, you know?
the thing is, and this is I believe I actually heard what's his name, Pope Francis talk about it, and he said if God is all loving and Jesus died for our sins, why would good people go to hell?
Yeah.
Like the thing is, there's so much we don't understand about this world, and never will, may I add. Like the whole thing about UFOs and all that. Like 100%, I do believe there's aliens out there. Do I believe for among us? Who knows? For all we know, half the people we talk to are aliens. For all we know, there's people in our family who are aliens. At the end of the day, we will never find out. Like the whole thing about the US's UFO files coming back and
I
people
know,
were
and they're all
shocked at.
there's so much stuff coming out for UFOs.
Yeah, like the thing was, the actual report came out yesterday, and everyone was shocked that nothing was going to be said. I don't think there's any possible way, if aliens actually existed, how they could just nonchalantly release a file that said, "Yep, aliens exist." I
Yeah.
don't think, and if it comes out like 50 years in the future that it was a lie and they knew the aliens existed, how on earth could you say that aliens exist without causing global panic and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
There's like 0% ways. Like, who knows what happens in Area 51? Who knows? Like, people get. If you caught spying in there, you're gone to never see the light of day ever again, like.
Mm-hmm.
So there's obviously something going on. Who knows if it's aliens, teleporters, anything, time machines. Who knows at the end of the day? Like, there's so much about this world you'll just never know.
Yeah, because we won't be living that lifetime to see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, plus, like, going to the other ends of the universe, who knows? For all we know, in the other end of the universe, you're breathing in carbon monoxide and breathing out oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many different things to the point where people say this isn't possible because biologically this hasn't happened. God is not a human. Like, it's so much different. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna like just go around and say like, oh, it's religion's gonna be 100% this way, blah blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can't answer, and I don't think it's like something you can just say nothing's. I don't think anyone can say it 100% certainty and like say that like something's 100% happening or 100% not. Like
Yeah.
my fate, I I do believe that there's something at the other side, but obviously I'll also have my days where I'll panic that there's not. But yeah,
Yeah, because you
I like
never know. We never know. We're just always on the edge of
yeah
knowledge. Like it's in our grasp, but it's not. It's there, but it's
yeah.
not. We don't know.
At
We're
the end of
in.
the day, yeah. At the end of the day, we probably somewhere in our consciousness know because what happened before we were born.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Whenever you're born, you kind of are in the same kind of mindset as you are now, but there's a past and a present and a future. Who knows? For all we know, it's reincarnation. For all we know, there's a purgatory stage before you're born. For all we know, we were in a purgatory for millions of years. For all we know, then we go into heaven or hell. Who knows? Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? I
But
don't know. The whole topic's really interesting.
if you like that topic, I actually got a show that you could watch if you would like to, of course.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. What is it?
There's a show on Netflix called The Midnight Gospel, and
I'll give that a wee shot.
a lot of that conversation is on there. It's an animated show. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. It's basically just a podcast animation, and it talks a lot about Buddhism and God and like religion and death and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And in fact, the main guy who did it, Duncan Trussell, his mom actually died of cancer, and he did a podcast episode with her 2 weeks before she died, or sometime before she died, and that's the last episode of it. It's a really good show. I think you should give it a listen.
Yeah, 100%. It's also crazy. Another thing that also makes me not understand. I actually heard a story of a guy talking about whenever he died, a black void went around his bed and he was sucked down into this place and he was terrified to go into it, blah blah blah. And then said whenever he came out, oh, I'm still an atheist. And I'm saying, how can you have this experience which is almost like basically telling you you're going to hell whenever you're actually dead and you don't believe in anything? How
Yeah,
can you not believe in something after you see this hallucination or whatever it was? Basically,
yeah.
I just don't understand people. I think that's the problem. I don't understand people. Like,
Like you don't have
try,
to be a Christian, but you gotta believe something's there. Something
yeah,
is
no,
there.
Like, I just don't understand how people say, "Oh, there's not enough Jude." I am like, how? Like, don't get me wrong, there is a possibility where nothing happens, and if that happens here, I don't find out until it happens, and if nothing's there, I won't be worried because I won't be able to think anything at all.
Yeah.
But I just can't see it. I just can't see it. Also,
Religion's
like,
a
oh,
good topic for sure. It's fun to
yeah,
talk about.
see, another random thought that I've had in my head is, how do we know we've lived this life we're living right now for our entire life? How do we not know we don't go to sleep at night and wake up as a different person in a different world?
Yeah, it's
There's no
true. You
way.
just have the
There's,
memories of that past
yep.
person.
Who knows? Like, hmm.
I don't know this, or maybe that our brain is in a vat somewhere and we're just in a simulation, kind of like the Matrix. You just don't know.
Matrix is a good movie.
Yeah, Matrix is a good movie. That
Matrix
one
is a
made me think
very.
a lot. I'm like, what if we're in that? We're just, it's crazy to think that.
Hey, if we're not, as long as I don't know, it's all right.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. That's the truth. I'm going for that pill where ignorance is bliss.
Nah, if I was given that pill, I'd want to know what the actual real world is. I'm too. I would actually I wouldn't regret because I wouldn't remember it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I feel like I wouldn't be able to take it. It would probably be a mistake to take the one which is not ignorance, but hey.
it's better to know
Uh,
the truth than to be like wondering your whole life.
until you get killed by some alien robot type thing.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I think the whole thing's just interesting. I don't know.
Well, we're close to out of time. We got like a few more minutes left, but it was a really good talk. It was a
hope everyone hope everyone enjoyed the gaming podcast where we went down about 70 different rabbit holes. Hopefully, I've made people think about things, and hopefully, people aren't just like, "Is
yeah.
this guy high?"
I hope you guys come to like the podcast with an open mind because that's just what life is. No one knows the truth, and that's true, and like nobody will ever know. And plus, this podcast is called the Random Square Topics. That's not a coincidence, okay? These are random topics. Whatever happens, happens. That's basically the description of what I say. The podcast is about anything and everything I enjoy or am interested in. So it's not only a gaming podcast. So if you came here for gaming, I am sorry, sir or ma'am or whoever came by. We had a good conversation. That's all that matters.
I had a great time. Like whenever you said we're talking about gaming, I was like, I don't actually know how much I could talk about this. I
Yeah.
just can't.
Well, I'm
I
glad
don't
this
know.
topic came up because I did want to have this conversation, which we need to do another podcast episode eventually when we have more time about this because it's a really good conversation to have.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I had a great time tonight. Like I could talk about this kind of stuff for ages. The problem, well, I'd be worried about doing is another podcast. Is I'd be worried if I came in and just said exactly the same spiel as I just said now. I don't know. Just have to figure it out.
Oh yeah,
I'll
well,
need to.
go watch the Midnight Gospel and we'll have a conversation about that
Oh
next
well.
time.
Oh well. Okay, no problem.
You got promise because I've been trying to get so many people to watch it, but everything we conversated about just like within
Yeah.
the past hour is all in that. All of
Yeah,
it.
I'll try. I'll try my best. I'm terrible at. I've got about 100 different things I need to watch written down. I'll try my best to get to it.
You gotta skip it because the Midnight Gospel, man. I'm promising you'll love it. You'll love it. The first few episodes are a little weird. I think the first one's about drugs, the second one's about death, and there's a bunch of good stuff in there. I
Yeah,
even listen to the podcast now too.
here. It's two topics I've probably researched so much. Like
Yeah.
psychedelic drugs interest me so much. I love to like do the ones with monks. I wouldn't want to buy it from just some random man in England. But like I
Yeah.
love to do like the one in monks. I know in like rainforest there's like frog venom or something you can take, or snake venom, which makes you it basically simulates death.
Yeah.
And like people come out with complete and utter different like mindsets, and like I know people who've went in like who just ate unhealthy food 24/7, taking like one of those things, and then they eat healthily for the rest of their life. I think it's so crazy how much it can change you. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not telling people to go for random drug. a random drug dealer in their town and get LSD or something like that. No, 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 no,
No,
no,
don't do
no, no,
that. Yeah,
no, no.
the way they like to word it in the Midnight Gospel podcast is different drugs work for different people. Okay, so
Yeah,
it
but
don't do drugs clearly, but if you're going to do it anyway, make sure you learn about them. Make sure you're confident. Make sure they're legal in the first place.
yeah, yeah. Don't. Problem is, if you buy something illegal, who knows what's in it at the end of the day.
Yeah, in Colorado, we I wouldn't really say marijuana is a psychedelic, but that it's legal here. So if you're doing marijuana in like legal places, but
Yeah.
drugs like
I've
that,
been, I've been to Amsterdam. I understand.
yeah, Colorado's nice. I gotta give props to Colorado for that.
Maybe I'll need to go.
Well, thank you for
Nah,
coming, Craig. Do you want to say anything before we end this off?
no problem. Thank you everyone for standing me for however long I've been rambling on for.
I like the conversation. We had a really good conversation, honestly.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I had a great time.
Well, thank you guys all for coming out to the Random Square Topics podcast today. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions or like statements or any push towards what you want for the next podcast. Thank you guys very much for coming out. Have a really good night. Do not let the bed bugs bite, and have a great morning if it's morning. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye bye.